responding to disastrous election results from his party from earlier this week. He has a choice to make. Do you fight back or do you give in to Republican demands? It seems, as usual, in my opinion, he has chosen the latter. When they said no to the public option, the president conceded. When they said no to taxing the big banks to pay for financial reform, the president conceded. It was a familiar pattern. And now that the Republicans have the House, the concessions only promise to pick up speed. Now a new round of surrenders have begun today. First, the president assured the country that he will back some Republican proposals.
The question is going to be, can Democrats and Republicans sit down together and come up with a set of ideas that address those core concerns? I'm confident that we can. I think that there are some areas where it's going to be very difficult for us to agree on. But I think there are going to be a whole bunch of areas where we can agree on.
Of course, the Republicans will not agree to any Democratic bills. So if there's any agreement, it will be GOP ideas that prevail. In fact, the capitulation on the issues began today when the president signaled he would accept tax cuts for the richest people in the country, a longtime Republican demand. So let's get this right. Republicans compromised on nothing, and they won huge. Democrats are the king of compromise, and they got crushed. So what's the Democratic answer today? Compromise. Brilliant, really, brilliant. How about you try fighting back for a change and see how that works out? But I'm the crazy one. Now joining us, a man who knows how to fight back, Democratic Congressman Alan Grayson from Florida. Congressman, it's great to have you on.
Thank you.
All right, now, Congressman, of course, I got to start with the obvious question. You were a very hard fighter for your side. Everybody knows that. But you wound up losing the election. So tell us what happened and why you think that happened.
Well, it's very simple. Democrats didn't vote. In my district, in the early voting, the Republican turnout was down 20% from 2008, and the Democratic turnout was down 60%. That wasn't just my district. That was districts all over Florida where we lost 4 seats. It was districts all over the country except for parts of the West Coast and New England. Everywhere, Democrats didn't vote because they didn't feel like voting. And if Democrats don't vote, then Democrats can't win.
Well, so why do you think they didn't vote? What drove the apathy, if you will?
I think that Democrats are saddened and demoralized by this policy of appeasement. The other side has what they regard as a winning strategy. You can summarize it in one word with 2 letters. The strategy is no. Whatever the Democrats want, the answer from the Republicans is no. And they were able to ride that to a 66-seat victory in the House, depending upon how the last few races happen to come out. So they've got their strategy intact. What about our strategy? Our strategy for 2 years has been appeasement. And look where it got us. I think Democrats want to see a fighting leadership. They want to see a fighting president, somebody who actually accomplishes good things for constituents, someone who makes progress on the Employee Free Choice Act, someone who makes progress on immigration, someone who makes progress on civil rights, someone who makes progress on women's rights. That's what they want to see, and they haven't seen it yet.
So, you were a fighter in your district, but they still didn't show up to vote. You think it was because of the national atmosphere where Democrats in general throughout the country felt like they didn't have enough to show up for? Is that what happened, you think?
It was a national disaster. I won by 4 points in 2008. I went back and checked to see what happened to all the Democrats who won by 10 points or less in the House in 2008. And believe me, 10 points is a lot more than 4 points. What I found is that of the 24 Democrats who won by 10 points or less in 2008, only one of them won this year. 1 out of 24. An additional 40 Democrats lost beyond that. 40 Democrats who won by more than 10 points in 2008 and managed to lose this year. It's simply because our voters went on strike, and we have to win them back by accomplishing good things for ordinary people.
It sounds like the opposite of what Tip O'Neill used to say. He used to say that all politics is local. But in this day and age, I don't think that's the case at all. But, the Republicans have nationalized it. And to your earlier point, John Boehner was in no mood for compromise of any sort on their side. I want to show you a clip here, and then I want to get your reaction.
This is not a time for compromise, and I can tell you, Sean, that we will not compromise on our principles, and we will not compromise on the will of the American people. It's as simple as that.
So are the Democrats suckers when they go to compromise with these guys? Because they have no intent of compromising with you whatsoever. So what's the game here? Why would the Democrats play ball with them?
I don't know. We put more than 100 Republican amendments into the health care reform bill and got next to nothing in the way of Republican votes. The Republicans have never said if you do X, Y, and Z, then we will go along with you. And that's the model the president was hoping to see when he got elected. We haven't seen it once. The only bipartisan accomplishment in the 111th Congress so far was my joining with Dr. Ron Paul to pass the Audit the Fed bill. And that had nothing to do with the president or, for that matter, the Democratic or Republican leadership. It was an insurgency from below.
Well, actually, the president and the White House fought that bill until it looked like they were going to lose. So that is absolutely accurate. I want to go to Harry Reid next because, you saw the Republican reaction there. They have no interest in working with you guys. They never did. They said no, no, no for 2 straight years, and that was an effective strategy for them, apparently, electorally. Now, Harry Reid apparently doesn't agree. Let's see what he said after the election.
I have always felt that my job is to build consensus, to work out legislation. It's not a bad word to suggest that legislation is the art of compromise.
So let me put it simply. Do you think Harry Reid is wrong in his quest for compromise?
I would suggest that Harry Reid reads the poem Slouching Toward Bethlehem by William Butler Yeats, the Irish poet. And he'll see that sometimes, under certain circumstances, the center cannot hold. This is one of those times. The center cannot hold. There is no center left. Either you deliver for the people on your side or you're gone. It's that simple. And it's not enough for one congressman in Central Florida in a purple district who won by 4% to be the one delivering. We all have to do it. We all have to make sure that the people who trust in us to make their lives better have something to show for it.
So the president today said that he's going to actually give in and agree to tax cuts for the rich. Is that a terrible mistake?
It's a mistake. It's money that will do nothing to improve the economy. It did nothing to improve the economy. The average millionaire got $1 million tax cut, and we wasted $700 billion that way while the economy was crumbling. If you do the same thing over and over and over again, you expect a different result. You're crazy.
All right. Finally, Congressman Grayson, will you be back?
We'll see. If that's what the people want, then I'll be back.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.